A self-employed borrower who does not have a tax return, or most likely has a tax return but does not have enough income on their tax return, can qualify for a non-QM loan using other documentation types such as bank statements, a profit and loss program, a 1099. Non-QM is for borrowers who don't qualify mainly because of their income documentation. Can't get a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA loan, you go and do a non-qualified mortgage, which is non-QM. The difference between a non-QM loan and a traditional loan or agency loan, non-QM loans are going to require a little bit more down payment most of the time. When I say that, it's 15 to 20% down. You certainly can get that in a traditional loan as well. But you're going to almost be required to put 15 or 20, where non-traditional loans have a smaller down payment. Interest rates typically going to be a little bit higher in a non-QM loan or non-qualified loan compared to a traditional home. It's because of the perceived risk that the lender, such as First National, has when given a loan that's non-traditional or non-QM. It's a little bit higher risk or perceived risk, so therefore there's going to be a little bit higher interest rate for a non-QM borrower. There is not a lot of companies in the United States that are doing non-QM loans. It's a very small thing. Most banks, most lenders across the United States, they specialize in the traditional way of getting a loan through tax returns for self-employed people. They shy away, the big banks and the big lenders shy away from doing non-QMs because it's just such a little thing they don't want to spend a whole lot of time with. Whereas that's what we specialize in, helping those self-employed people who can't get that traditional home loan. We're here to help them. When someone does not qualify for a traditional home loan because maybe their tax returns don't have enough income on it, we offer different flexible options such as 12 months of bank statements instead of using a tax return to qualify your income. We give you opportunity to use a profit and loss. In fact, it's a self-prepared profit and loss that gets reviewed by a tax preparer of your choice. Usually someone's tax preparer will help them do a profit and loss statement. It shows what your business is doing, what kind of income you have on paper through a profit and loss program versus your tax return. With a non-QM loan, using 12 months of bank statements is pretty standard across our industry, in the non-QM industry. However, one thing that's unique about First Nationals, not only we say, hey, we'll use 12 months of bank statements, we only require you to be self-employed for 1 year. So typically a non-QM lender, or any lender for that matter, giving a home loan to a borrower, they want to see 2 years of self-employed. 1 year at First National and 1 year or 12 months of bank statements will get you to the finish line with First National. Some of the misconceptions about being self-employed and seeking to get a home loan and having to go to a non-QM lender such as First National are that typically you're going to try to get, that's probably tough because you're going to get a higher interest rate. I'm self-employed, I'm not traditional, I can't use my tax returns, I have to use maybe bank statements or profit and loss, which are very, for the most part, are unheard of out there in the industry or out there in the public. The misconception is you're going to get a higher interest rate. Interest rates are a little bit higher, but not too far off a traditional mortgage. The other thing is that's going to be difficult. That's not true. In fact, we rarely use tax returns here at First National. We use the profit and loss program we have or bank statement program we have on probably more than 50% of the self-employed loans that we do. So it's a thing. It's not like it's just invented 2 months ago. It's been around for years. Just not many banks or many lenders offer the program because it's a non-traditional type thing to do. From the time a borrower or a potential borrower at First National submits their information to First National, meaning their 12 months of bank statements or their profit and loss, it takes about 24 to 48 hours to say, hey, this is the income that we're going to be able to use for your mortgage application. We can take that mortgage application within 24 to 48 hours of getting your income documentation. From there, it's within 30 days, you're going to be a homeowner. which is amazing because typically in the industry right now it's running around 40 to 45 days to get a home loan through the finish line. At First National, it takes about 30 days to get you through the process, even as a self-employed individual. It's no different than someone who's not self-employed, actually. So we treat self-employed people just as if someone's a W-2 wage earner. Over the years, I mean, at one time, I can say 10 years ago, 12 years ago at First National, it was taking us a longer time to figure out how do we get this self-employed person a loan through untraditional or non-traditional documentation. So it took us a long time to figure that out, and it took us a long time to sort through 24 months of bank statements. We've really mastered that process, so it takes less than 24 hours to say, hey, we have 12 months of your bank statements. Within 24 hours, we're typically going to say, this is the income we're going to be able to use for you to move forward doing a loan at First National. You have to prepare by being organized, and a few different ways. Some things I would recommend would be diligent with all your paperwork, meaning you're going to have to provide someone with 12 months of bank statements. Let's be prepared to get those 12 months of bank statements. Let's be prepared to put all our deposits, whether it's cash deposits or checks from the work that we're doing, the revenue that you're bringing in, needed to deposit all that money into that bank account. Often you see someone say, well, we're just going to get cash and we're going to use this in cash. We're not going to deposit that into my bank account. The more income you're going to show if you deposit all your revenue from your business into that bank account as you move forward. So to prepare yourself, throw all those deposits in, make sure you have 12 months of deposits, and be prepared to do that. Another thing I would mention to prepare yourself for is, on average, we're around 20% down payment. And a self-employed person has to put 20% down. It doesn't necessarily have to be your own money. You can get gift money from a friend or relative. What a gift fund is we're typically looking for around a 20% down payment. Not all borrowers have 20% sitting around in their bank account, and understandably so. Maybe you have 10%. Example, you're buying a $400,000 home. You need to put 20% down. That's a lot of money. You're looking at $80,000. Let's say you have $40,000. $40,000 of your own money, you need to come up another $40,000. Maybe you have a family member, a friend, a relative, a parent, anybody willing to say, here's an additional $40,000 to help you with your down payment, and they give you a gift that you can use towards the down payment of your home. Credit is a very important thing, not only your credit score, but the depth of your credit. Often we run into people who have a good credit score, like here, wonderful credit score, let's say 700 plus credit score, which is good to First National. It's a really good credit score, but limited amount of credit. Maybe only one, what we call a trade line, maybe one credit card or one car payment only on credit that's driving that credit score up. So not only is a good credit score makes a difference in getting a better interest rate or a better loan from First National, but the depth of credit. If you can have 2 or 3 trade lines or items on your credit and to build that good credit score up and making payments on time, it makes a world of difference in your interest rate, which is going to make a world of difference in the monthly payment you're going to make. It's going to make a world of difference on how you operate, even on a monthly basis, because it's going to lower your debts if you have a smaller payment, smaller mortgage payment. First National goes down as low as a 600 credit score. So you can be self-employed, using alternative documentation, other than tax returns to qualify at First National, and have as low as a 600 credit score and get a mortgage. That's pretty unique. You cannot get a traditional loan, or it's very tough to get a traditional loan, I should say, having a 600 credit score. So that's important that you have a higher credit score than 600, but we do go down to 600. The better credit score, the better interest rate, the better monthly payment you're going to have at First National. Something I would say when you're looking to qualify as a self-employed individual for a non-QM loan at First National, you only need to be self-employed 1 year. You can use bank statements or profit and loss statements versus a full tax return. One thing you also want to make sure you take care of when you, as a self-employed individual, is document your self-employment. We only need to be self-employed for 1 year, as I mentioned, to qualify for mortgage, but we have to prove you've been self-employed. Just showing that you have a bank statement that says ABC company on your bank statement doesn't prove you've been self-employed for 1 year. Getting your licenses, whatever business you might be in, get a license you can prove that you're self-employed. Maybe there's some certification you need. Maybe it's getting a DBA, doing business as. If you're a sole proprietor, you can get a DBA, showing proof you're self-employed. So often we can give someone a loan for self-employed for many reasons that are really non-traditional ways, but we have to prove you're self-employed. So make sure you document that before you come to First National. If you're a self-employed individual and you need to do a non-traditional mortgage or a non-QM mortgage because you don't qualify using tax returns, you don't show enough income on your tax returns, the best way to start the process is to get in touch with First National. Get in touch with us. The best way to do that is at www.fnba.com/mortgage.